Religion? No way.
Once you assume a creator and a plan, it makes us objects in a cruel experiment whereby we are created sick and commanded to be well. I'll repeat that. Created sick and then ordered to be well. And over us to supervise this is installed a celestial dictatorship, a kind of divine North Korea.
You can have a deep spiritual and ethical life without lying to yourself or to your children about the nature of reality, without pretending to know things you do not know. This, to me, is the true horror of religion. It allows perfectly decent and sane people to believe by the billions what only lunatics could believe on their own.
Well, the new atheists had their say about a decade ago, but their arguments have become old and people aren't following them like they used to. So greetings, everyone. My name is Alan Totier, and I'm the host in this podcast called the Missional Impulse, where we encourage people to know what the mission of God is and to help them to live missionally in this day and age. And this is episode 3. I want to talk about the concept of religion. So first, there's just some preliminary stuff. We're just laying a groundwork so we can get into deeper conversations later. And so I want to talk about the subject of religion. See, I used to know what religion meant, but now it's not so easy. Why? Because people rarely define the word, but throw it around indiscriminately, usually in a negative sense, and assume we all know what we're talking about. For example, people say, I'm spiritual, but not religious. Or, I'm a Christian, but not religious. Or, I'm a follower of Jesus, but I'm not religious. And so are you talking about religious institutions, belief in God, organized religions, church services, having a theistic worldview? What does religion mean? Good question. Sounds like religion is just a word for all the garbage ideas that we don't hold to anymore. So I don't know. Now, Christians might say, it's not a religion, it's a relationship with God. And I agree with that. Serving Jesus Christ is first and foremost a relationship with God. But however, it's still true that I'm religious, I go to church, I belong to a Christian community. But I do want to say one thing, that I did a study several years ago. I interviewed 20 people who emigrated to the United States. They're of a different religion, but they came here and they eventually started going to church and accepted Christ. And I thought that was counterintuitive. I mean, if they want to stay, whatever religion they were, there's no problem. We have freedom of religion in this country, and maybe they'll find cultural continuity by staying within their own communities. But they didn't want to do that. They wanted to go to our churches. So I sat them down and interviewed them, and I just let them tell their story. I found it very significant that not one person said, I changed my religion, or I switched religions, or something like that. They would say, God became real to me. Beforehand, I was crying out to God, never felt him. There was no answer. But through Christ, God became real to me. Right? That was the response of all these people. As far as their former religion, they described it as being something, an aspect of culture, in other words, but not a pathway to the divine or a way of being spiritual or something like that. And so again, there's many definitions of religion out there. Some are very inclusive. That might include where we go, where did we come from, where are we going in the future, and how do you live today? Okay. Since I also teach cultural anthropology, sometimes we take some of those definitions, like one that was made popular by Clifford Geertz. He said, religion is a system of symbols which acts to establish powerful, pervasive, and long-lasting moods and motivations in men by formulating conceptions of a general order or existence and clothing these conceptions with such an aura of factuality that the moods and motivations seem uniquely realistic. Okay, so anthropologists are not concerned about whether a belief is orthodox or not, but they are concerned about with a particular belief that you have, how do you live it out? I mean, how do you order your life, the rituals, the symbolisms used, and so forth. And yes, in some ways this is an inclusive definition, but it does serve a useful purpose. And the point of the fact is that everyone has a worldview. Some people have a secular or materialistic worldview. Others hold to a pantheistic worldview, kind of like the Force or Taoism or something like that. But others hold to a more theistic worldview, such as Jews, Christians, and Muslims, where they believe there's a creator God. And by labeling people religious, are we not casting stereotypes and prejudices on certain people? I heard, some people in schools said that, when they were in public school, you have to sign a statement saying, I cannot share my faith with anyone. I mean, come on, we're not here to, I'm not saying we have to preach at people, but if someone asks us what we believe, if we open up our mouths, we can get into trouble. I mean, what is this? If we want a truly pluralistic society, we need to accept all people, including those deemed religious, because whether you're an atheist or a Christian, you both have worldviews. So what you're saying is that one worldview is legitimate and the other one has to be canceled. All right, that just cannot be within our society. Also, some atheists like Sam Harris would like to say that as people become less religious, they have become more rational and scientific. But that has not happened. Rather, people become more political, nationalistic, and more superstitious. Involved, and what I mean by superstitious, usually like spirituality or alternative religions or some kind of cult out there. So, and while atheists do claim to be irreligious, they do hold to a concept of religion, which I believe is extremely vague and a distortion of reality, and it only fuels some of these stereotypes and prejudices. Now, one concern, though, is as people have, we can see trends in this country where church attendance has gone down, and you'd think society would be better off as a result, but no, we see more political and racial divisions than we have seen in the past. In fact, I want to play a short video clip from Michael Jones. He has a YouTube channel called Inspiring Philosophy. He is concerned about Christian nationalism, and he says it's actually a good thing for us to go to church. So take a listen.
In Republican regions, people are becoming more Republican, and perhaps most surprising, more stridently Christian nationalist. See, what he's pointing out is that when people leave religion, they don't always become less religious. Often that religious zeal, that religious energy, is redirected into politics. And so instead of traditional religions, we get political religions. The political ideology becomes the new God, and the new savior is whatever charismatic politician is currently in the spotlight. As sociologist Philip Gorski said, loosed from its religious moorings, religious nationalism floats free of the ethical tether of Christian ethics and drifts even further in the direction of secular messianism and political authoritarianism. Now, there's actually some data behind this, because a study in 2021 found that in the US, Christian nationalism was found among the least churched individuals. And another study done in Europe found that radical right-wing parties tend to advertise themselves as defending Christian identity and values, but they're unlikely to attract religious Christian voters. So if you want to stop right-wing authoritarianism from rising, the best way to probably do it is to make the world more Christian.
If you like that video, I posted the link down in the comments. I want to talk a little bit more about this concept of religion in my next video, especially when we come to reading the Bible. I think we need to question it. In some cases, it needs to be dismantled and so forth. We need to change our thinking about it before we move on. And when we move on, I do want to talk about the importance of the church and why it does matter and so forth. All right? So in the meantime, I pray that you would continue to seek the Lord, be on mission for Jesus. If you haven't already done so, please hit the subscribe button down below. So as I post more videos, you'll get the notification then. All right? Thank you very much, and God bless you.